South of Marienplatz, in the youngest part of the pedestrian zone, just before the Isartor, there is a gem that is easy to overlook if you are lost in thought as you walk down Sendlinger Straße. Squeezed between the fronts of houses is St. Johann Nepomuk, known to Munich residents as the Asamkirche, the Asam Church. The Asam brothers Cosmas Damian Asam and Egid Quirin Asam were important sculptors, painters and architects in southern Germany at the beginning of the 18th century. Their father, Hans-Georg Asam, was already a monastery painter. They trained in Munich and Rome. Afterwards, a division of labor was established. Cosmas was active as a painter and sculptor, while Egid was more active as an architect and stucco artist. They therefore complemented each other and usually worked together. As sought-after artists, they became wealthy. The two settled in Munich, where they were able to develop freely with the private chapel of St. Johann Nepomuk, without having to take pesky instructions from a client. The adjoining houses are definitely part of the Asam Church ensemble. To the left of the main portal of the Asam Church is the Asam House, the home of the Asam brothers. So it was built in the 16th century, long before the Asam brothers. The facade was richly decorated by them in the 18th century. It was intended to showcase the brothers' skills, as a kind of 18th century advertisement. The rectory is on the right side of the church. It was built at the same time as the church, but it has a much simpler design. Today as then, both houses contain apartments and are therefore not open to the public. The church was also originally only intended to serve as a private chapel for the Asam brothers. After protest from the locals, however, they had to give in and open it to the public. From the outside, the church seems to grow out of the rock. In the vestibule, St. Peter and St. Jerome guard the entrance to the church. As soon as you enter the church, you notice that the Asam brothers were able to let off steam artistically here. The late Baroque church is extremely richly decorated and the gold leaf has not been spared. The ceiling painting has a special feature. One could be forgiven for thinking that it is a vault. However, the ceiling is almost flat and the optical illusion of a vault was only created using a special painting technique. The fact that the church faces west and not east towards Jerusalem, like most churches, was of course due to the constructural circumstances. Although the Asams were unable to get a private chapel, at least they had a private view of the church from their apartment. Of course you can stay here in the church for a long time to explore every detail. Nevertheless, I would like to point out one figure. There is a memento mori in the vestibule to remind the faithful of their mortality. Youth spins the thread of life, but death is already applying its scissors. And at some point it snaps, and the thread of life is severed. So come to Munich while you can and book a tour with me. Here's my email address. See you in the next video, Philip.